and you're listening to Blue Shirt
Underground Show,
the #1 Rangers podcast. Make sure you tune in and find out all the latest news. Let's go Rangers.
Blue Shirt Underground, motherfucker!
Can't be as a Ranger fan. Can't be as a Ranger fan.
This is an unlawful gathering. This is an unlawful gathering. The truth is out there. The truth is out there.
This is the underground. This is new media. This is the underground. This is new media.
Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar. Ranger fans, report to the critical thinking hangar.
And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers. And now here is the starting lineup for the New York Rangers.
This is New York Rangers hockey. 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 This is New York.
There's Fox across. Ryan Lindgren. Fox leaving it for Tarasenko. Shoots. He scores! Second of the series for Vladimir Tarasenko. The Rangers tie the game at 1.
5 minutes and 53 seconds. The first whistle comes on this Tarasenko goal. The rotation. Fox with another helper. Tarasenko. The shot with traffic in front. Here's the play by Adam Fox. Sees the ice so well. Tarasenko takes advantage of the Trocheck screen in front. Elevates the puck up and over Vanacek.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Blue Shirt Underground Show, Patreon exclusive Game 2 wrap-up show. My name is Jim, and as always, I'm joined by the one and only Eddie Geik. Eddie, good evening, sir. We are up 2-0. What a night, baby. What a night.
Beautiful, beautiful. May I say, a juggernaut-like win. Domination, pure domination from about the 6 minute on from period 1. Just slapping Junior around the ice. Come on, get off me. Get off me, Devils. So, yes, it was a tremendous victory. The Rangers go up 2-0. And, Jim, I see you're outside. Is this the porch that we hear about so much?
I am on the famous patio. Yes.
Oh, the patio. Yes.
Just too nice a day. 75 degrees here today. Just beautiful, sunny. I've been inside all day working. Work was over. We went to happy hour, had a few cocktails. I said, you know what? I'm bringing the laptop outside. I got my new camera, my new what do you call this thing? A gooseneck for the webcam. I said, we're doing this al fresco tonight, baby. Too nice a night. Hopefully my lighting holds up. Excited.
I like
excited.
The background there.
Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, see that? That's Freemansburg and all its glory.
Can we play some wiffle ball one day?
We could play wiffle ball back there. And right here, let me see if I can turn this a little bit. This is the let me see. There it is. That is our axe throwing. That we bought at Costco. And last night before the game, we put a Devils logo on it. And as you can see, much like the Devils themselves, it's completely torn to pieces. Completely torn to pieces, my friend. Yeah, the girls were out throwing axes at the logo all night long, and life all is good. I love this time of year. I can't get enough of the outdoors once the weather gets nice.
See, if I had an axe throwing thing in my yard, and I threw it, I'd probably get shot by my neighbors. They'd be like,
Well,
"Hey,
these-
you wielding an axe."
These axes, let me show you these. Hold on, I'm going to show you these. We're going to get you a little.
demo, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, your little. See, these aren't real axes. These are like rubberized on the end, and they're plastic.
Oh, okay.
So you just and
They're
it's
on
it's
now.
all
We need the rest of the playoffs.
it's all plastic. So you just wing that thing in, and it's going to stick. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. What's that?
Vladdy Tarasenko from that.
Right. I was short distance, but yeah, it's fun. We got that at Costco last week, and just give us something a little to do out here in the yard. I want to put a horseshoe pit in one of these days.
I think I'm going to get one of those.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
I might throw my arm out. I got to save for baseball season, softball season.
Right? Yeah. You never know when they're gonna need the big righty in the ninth inning.
Yes. Wow. I'm just gonna say, I am so proud of this team, and I think I'm in love. I think I'm in love with this team. I think now what do they say? The visions of plum fairies are dancing.
I always say we got visions of sugar plums dancing in our heads, right?
Sugar plum fairies dancing in my head. This juggernaut of a team that we saw last night. I mean, they've exposed the Devils. They've exposed them. And it's not because the Devils are so weak. I feel at this moment in time, again, I don't want to get ahead of myself because it's typical, how Ranger fans think. They just got the better team. Hands down, player for player, they have the better team.
I see just similarities of that Tampa Bay series last year where Rangers were just inexperienced and Tampa knew what it took, and I just feel like that's where we're at this year. The Rangers are just playing like a team that knows what it takes. They just know what it takes. We came out of game one, which was a dominant win. I mean, a 5-1 win, but we said on the recap the other night that we felt like they needed to play better, and goddamn that they didn't come out and play better last night. They were unbelievable last night. The Rangers are just better. The Rangers are just a better playoff team right now, and I don't care who knows. Fuck the Devils.
Well,
Their fans. Fuck Joe Piscopo.
What, did he do the national anthem last night? Joe Piscopo?
Love seeing those fans head for the exits. Yes, you hear my wind chimes up on the patio, up on our balcony there. Yes.
Yeah. You could see, I know we talked about playoff experience and such, and the ball didn't really matter, but it has become apparent in this that the Rangers basically couldn't wait to get in the playoffs again and get this thing going. And although they kind of floundered at the end and they didn't do what we wanted them to do, can they just switch it on? Apparently they can.
Apparently they can. I guess maybe that comes with playoff experience. I don't know. I mean, we haven't gone into the playoffs with a team this experienced in 25 years. 97.
I mean,
so I guess they can. I mean, look, the Devils played a hell of a lot better last night than they did in game one, and it still didn't matter. And quite honestly, if I play for the Devils or I'm a Devils fan or a Devils coach, which by the way they want that coach fired again already, the I'm sorry's are long gone.
Well, the problem with Ruff is he talks too much. He's the diametrical opposite of Gallant. He sits there for 40 minutes and talks and gives everybody an answer. Gallant's like, he's got 4 pat answers, and that's it. End of post game. But Leonard Ruff sits there and explaining why he put the Schadenfreude or Schiegenhauser, why he benched him, why he
Siegenthaler.
Yeah, Siegenthaler, and then all right. Darwin, Dr. Darwin Bushman, are we coming through clear? Or is it just a Filipino thing?
The wind, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not using my microphone. I'm using my headset microphones. I'm doing the best I can here. I don't want to sit inside the house. I've been inside the house all day. It's 75 degrees. I want to be outside.
And he's a little buzzed, ladies and gentlemen. So he's not taking. He is not going to be taking any orders whatsoever.
Liquored up, fired up.
Okay.
I don't know. Dr. B says he can't hear you, but I'm not hearing that from anybody else. Matsy says he can hear me just fine.
What about me? I'm almost as important.
You are more important. Can you hear us okay? Jen's sitting right next to me. She's got headphones on. She said she can hear us fine.
Okay. Sorry, Dr. Darwin.
Dr. B, it's that Filipino Samsung laptop you're watching this on.
Yeah. Get those Filipino chicks off your lap. You'll be able to hear better. Whispering in your ear.
I know it's a little windy out here tonight. I wasn't expecting that, but by the time I realized that it was too late to do anything about it anyway, it is what it is. As the wind blows. Nothing you can do about it.
I don't know. They showed the stat last night, Jim, about the playoff experience, and it was like drastically in the Rangers' favor.
Over 800 games for the Rangers and 400 games for the Devils. Now, 400 still sounds like a lot, but if you really think about it, it's 5 total seasons. So it's really not. It's really not as much as it sounds like. You hear 400, and you're like, wow, that's not that bad. I mean, that's a lot, isn't it? But no, not really. You got one guy who's it's just not a lot.
Right. So
who cares? I think their experience.
Because I told Jim before the show, I kind of watched a after show on a Devils podcast. It was called The Devils After Dark, which I found humorous.
Devils After Dorks.
The Rangers. What did you say?
Devils After Dorks.
Yeah.
Well, people are chatting, so it's got to be there somewhere. She's having trouble with the live chat. I'm sorry. Devils After Dark.
Yes, Devils After Dorks, and they were throwing the blame game on Dougie Hamilton, a little bit on Lindy Ruff. Looks like, from what you tell me, they're coming after him. But what is he gonna do? The Rangers are putting line after line up. The power play looks unstoppable. Their defensemen cannot do anything. They pick one guy, the other guy's open. I don't think Ryan Graves is having the greatest of the series. I don't think any defenseman for that team is having a great series. The Rangers are coming at him every shift. And I said in the last broadcast, the last recap, the Rangers can get better, and they did. And, I'm glad that we can enjoy back-to-back 5-1 victories. And they haven't scored on us when it's been 5-on-5 on the ice. They got that cheapo power play going on last night by Eric Haller. Isn't he annoying?
Fuck him. You see that celebration?
I know.
It's 1-0 in the first period. You're celebrating like you just fucking cured COVID, won Game 7, and saved humanity from alien invasion. Get the fuck out. Sit the fuck down. Fuck you. Fuck your team and your fans. Fucking miscreants.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. He's waving his arms, trying to get those 900 fans charged up with their artificial noise bullshit, trying to get Joe Piscopo waving his towel. And the ghost of Sinatra. Get the fuck out of here. Your team is garbage. Garbage. Your fans are garbage. Your arena's garbage. Get out of here. I'm done. Bring this home to MSG and finish this bullshit. No fucking around with this team now. Get these 2 wins. There it is. I don't even know what it is. What is that? Can't see that. Oh, New York. That's all I could see.
Welcome to New York. I just got this card.
Nice.
It's it is a tall task for any team to beat the New York Rangers inside Madison Square Garden. Ain't that a lie? But it will be coming up in the next 2 games. It's gonna be a tall task for these Devils to regroup. Especially when I see the locker room interviews with the Devils. Jack Hughes looks like someone, stole his Nintendo Switch.
Good.
He looks lost. He's so young that, these are kind of, again, I don't want to put this series away because the Rangers have a history of not putting series away, but it would take a cataclysmic injuries, God forbid, something cataclysmic to happen that the Rangers don't win this in at least 5 games.
I just feel like after 2 games, this team is just dialed in. You could just see it. They are, the Devils got up 1-0 last night with that with a lucky goal. Puck just bounces out and Haula just happens to be there. And he fucking celebrates, he defeated the Martians and saved humanity, and there's no more cancer. But you could just see there was no panic. The Rangers were outplaying them at that point. I wasn't worried. It was one of the rare times where Rangers go into the locker room 1-0 after first period. I'm like, I ain't worried. You could just see they're just the better team. They're better prepared. I don't know what Gallant's doing, but everybody's buying it. Everybody's buying it, Eddie. Don Rickles.
And
everybody's buying it.
We spent a lot of time on this show saying, I don't know what he does. But you know what he did do that was a tremendous move now that we're 2 games up? Is having those guys stay together and making this like a road trip. Nobody went home to their palatial estates. They stayed together. They bonded. You can see it on the ice. I think they were bonded before, but I think it even worked. And that was a brilliant strategy by Mr. Gallant, Mr. Rickles, Mr. Gallant, Secret Squirrel, whatever you want to call him.
Uncle Fester.
Uncle Fester. Just a beautiful, just a good move. A really good move. So whatever he does on ice, there's something going on because that team is dialed in. And I know that's been used like a million times around the Ranger airwaves or whatever, but they are dialed in. And the Devils should be afraid.
There's no better way to put it. There's no better way to put it.
Elmer Fudd, thank you. Didn't want to miss one of Gallant's nicknames. But they're dialed in, and the Devils continue to take stupid penalties. I mean, that Damon Severson, I'd bench his ass for taking stupid penalties. Look at that. Oh, God, look at that bum. Just look at him.
Look at this poor kid. Your father did you a disservice, kid. First of all, he made you a fan of that team, that garbage organization in Newark. And then he stuffed your fat face in that fucking jersey. Screw you, kid.
Let's not go off on my large mammal friends, but he is wearing a stupid jersey.
Screw you, kid. Screw you, Pugsley. Screw you, Pugsley.
He looks like Marty Allen a little bit. I don't know if you remember him. He's hello there. Yeah, Marty Allen. Yeah, Pugsley. Not looking happy. Good.
You know what he looks like? There was a kid. I think he was on MTV. They used to send him out to do pranks. He was a little kid, and he got really popular. I can't remember. The kid had a Greek name, but I don't remember what it was. And they used to send him out on the beach hitting on women. Do you remember that at all? You know who I'm talking about, right?
2 or 3, yeah. What was that guy? MP.
I cannot. Andy something. Sadiq, Andy. It was Andy something, I think.
Elvis Merzlikins?
Andy Milanakis. Thank you, Sean. He was legit 30. Not when they first started. With that shit, he wasn't. He'd go up to girls, hitting on them on the beach. That's who that kid looks like. Andy Milanakis. Thank you.
Didn't Andy Milanakis get his start on the Man Show?
Maybe that's what it was. Maybe it wasn't MTV. Maybe it was the Man Show.
No,
yeah.
I think he was on MTV later. He got his own show. So yes, let's talk about some of the guys for the Rangers. I mean, let's start off with Vladimir Tarasenko, like you said, getting that first goal, showing us that just playing the game the right way. And the shooting. I mean, you have stuff like that. And how about, and I saw it in the chat room, you're soon to betrothed. Finally said it
My
right.
broad.
Your broad.
My
Talking
broad.
about young 21-year-old Braden Schneider. Oh, my God. My wife has a little bit of crush on Braden.
Oh, so do I. My daughter loves Braden Schneider. Oh, love Braden Schneider.
Geez, women love him. I don't blame him. I'm in love with him. First of all, they try to get a mismatch in a fight. They're like, oh, they're not picking on Mikkola. They're picking on Schneider.
Right.
And so guess what happens? Braden accorded himself very well in that fight. He was throwing the body earlier in the game. I mean, what's not to like? And then he's smiling on his way to the penalty box. What's not to love about this guy? He's gone to the Vinny Trocheck School of Smiling.
All right. I just, before we even continue, I need to throw out an apology to the chat because I just looked it up. Andy Milanakis is literally 5 years younger than I am. He's 47. He's 47 years old. What's the matter? Oh, shit. My AirPods are on the desk if you want to grab them. All right. Can you grab me a beer? Please.
I thought Jen said Andy Milanakis has died.
Right out in front of our house. It was the strangest thing.
He was young Clark Kent.
So he was like 20 when he was doing this Man Show shit. Yeah, he's 47 years old.
Well, Patty Duke,
So,
I want to say I've never doubted Chris Kreider. Let me tell you something. I have always been on his side, and I got to say that Beefcake boy is a power play god, a playoff monster. I will never, ever say another word bad about Chris Kreider. I mean, he's a chicken specialist.
You know what? I've said that. I've been saying this for a couple weeks now because the conversation came up on a TNT broadcast about possibly his number someday hanging from the rafters. And you know what? I think it's gonna. If you look at his numbers, if he plays another 5 to 6 years as a Ranger, and I'm not even talking about 40, 50 goal seasons, just remains a reliable goal scorer, he's going to catch Zilbert in goals scored as a Ranger. He's not going to catch him in points because Chris Kreider, I don't know how, but Chris Kreider gets like 5 assists a year. But as far as goals are concerned, he's going to catch Gilbert. Plus, he's such a good guy off the ice and does a lot. Thank you very much. And does a lot with the Garden of Dreams. And I think that does and should play into a guy getting his number retired. And I think it's going to happen someday. No, I don't think he needs a cup to make it happen. There's only 3 guys in the rafters, or 4 guys, that have their number retired that won a cup. The rest of them didn't.
Right.
Harry Howell didn't win a cup. Andy Bathgate didn't win a cup. Gilbert didn't win a cup. Vic Hadfield didn't win a cup. I think it'll happen for Chris Kreider, and for those of you, and maybe not in this group, but for those of you in the Ranger lexicon that constantly need your reaffirmation that you were right and I was wrong. Yes, I did say a couple of years ago that before he signed his big deal, that yes, because of the position that the team was in at the time, that I thought it would make more sense to trade him. Am I glad to be wrong? Absolutely. I am not one of these people that needs to be right 100% of the time when it comes to my teams. I'm absolutely thrilled that I was wrong and that he has turned into the player he has turned into.
Oh, there was plenty.
Now I'm going to drink my beer while you talk.
He's been a playoff performer all his career. I mean, even when he first came up, he was scoring some really clutch goals for the Rangers in the postseason. The problem with him is that I really thought he was like never going to break 30 goals. And
we talked about it. It's all out there. It's all documented. We just said, we both said, we know what Chris Kreider is. He's a 28 goal scorer. We're not shying away from that. You can go listen to it. Go find an old podcast. It's there.
But he's a different player now, especially with Mika. When Mika's he's up. Mika's upped his game to like next level, like both ends of the ice. And early in his career, Kreider was not in front of that net. He was a guy who was trying to do it with his speed and his shot, and his shot isn't the greatest. And a lot of times I would see a shot, glove, face off, still had the speed, and now he's killing penalties. He had 4 or 5 shorthanded goals this year. He's developed, and now they said it that between playoffs and regular season, he's got the most tip-in goals of anybody. I think Joe Pavelski is second with that stat. And so he's become a tip-in master, and the Rangers' power play is deadly. Adam Fox with another 2 assists. This guy he may be headed to the rafters as well if he continues. He's still, there's still a long way to go with his career as a Ranger, but he's as dominant as any defenseman I see. I mean, I don't see Cale Makar on a regular basis. People mention that usually when they. I didn't see much of Erik Karlsson, and he's not even in the playoffs, so I can't tell you that. Victor Hedman, these guys. I mean, he's won 2 cups, but Adam Fox has got such control of that power play. And you got Panarin dishing off, making passes. They don't know who to cover. And Mika hasn't really even set up for that one-timer over in the face-off dot.
They've tried to. I think they've done a good job. It looks to me like they've tried to move Mika around a little bit. Last night, he tried that one-timer from right in front of the net, in between the dots. In between the circles, he tried it from there. Look, whoever's running this power play, whoever's come up with these ideas, everything's just coming up 7s at this point. I mean, and the amazing thing about Adam Fox, talk about Adam Fox, he's only 25. He could conceivably get better than he is right now.
Well, with the more experience you get and players coming to the league, when you're a veteran, that's the advantage you have. Coming up that first couple of years, that's when you kind of you take your you're progressing. And now, you're right. I think he can get better. And another word they bandy about is this hockey IQ thing. His hockey IQ is off the fucking charts. He
Absolutely.
sees things, and him and Lindgren make such a compliment on that and Trouba. I'm going to give a lot of. Again, I'm not throwing the parade yet, but you want my accolades after that. The 2 games that I've seen so far, Jacob Trouba is our fucking captain. He's acting like a captain. He really has solidified that whole captain debate because I see him engaged. hitting, he's barking, and he's always out there. Because I'll tell you, there's going to be some paybacks when this series goes up 3-0. Certain guys are going to get paid back. And what about that Wes McCauley last night? He's throwing
Terrible.
plays out with 6 minutes left.
Terrible.
It's the Wes McCauley show.
I don't care. I don't care how much publicity he gets. He's one of the worst referees in the league. And he has been. He is a terrible referee. He only gets publicity because of his flamboyant calls. He's a terrible referee. And it showed last night. Go watch the tape. If you're not a Rangers and Devils fan, just go watch the tape of the game and tell me that this guy calls a good game. Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
I mean, if it's
that holding call on Fox, come on.
Oh, that was terrible. That was awful. That was awful. Are you kidding? This guy gets like 10 minutes of penalties the whole season. You're going to tell me that was a legit hold? What are we playing? Tiddlywinks out here, he calls that? That was a disgrace. And then he's throwing plays out with 6 minutes left, like giving him an extra 2. How did Fox get an extra 2 out of that? It was fucking mugged. I don't know how he got 7 minutes in penalties.
He's terrible. He's just not a good in a league full of bad officiating. He stands alone. I mean, he's terrible. And someone in our group, somebody posted a video of him or something making a call, one of his fucking calls and his bullshit. And somebody in our group said, "Oh, he's the best referee in the game." I said, "You got to be fucking kidding me! This guy is the worst referee in the game. Worst. He's the worst."
Yeah, and he's the look at me guy. Impact refereeing. Look at me. Look what I'm doing.
In a good called game, I shouldn't know who the referee is, right? Shouldn't even know. Shouldn't even know. Shouldn't hear him. Shouldn't see him. Shouldn't know who that is.
They even had the
completely unnoticeable, like an offensive lineman. I shouldn't know he's there.
And he's throwing out guys like this is like 1975. Like all of a sudden, Kako is going to fight Sharon Govich or whatever. Like, this isn't the old days. There's like 2 guys who fight, and that's it. Maybe. So I just thought it was stupid. All that after the whistle garbage, and it was like, they were face washing each other. Just go to your benches, boys, and that's it.
Right.
Fucking playoff time. This is not that. This is the preseason where you got to set some kind of precedent for some stupid new rule they come up with.
And then with I guess with 5 minutes, about 5 minutes left in the game, 6 minutes left in the game, whatever it was, when all that shit went down, and then he goes over and he's telling both coaches to put new lines on the ice. Why?
Yeah, he's going like this.
All right, let them fucking play. Let them play. This is what playoff hockey is supposed to be.
He's the jerk off who's holding up the game. And he's like, let's get it over. Let's speed it up, fellas. You don't want to pull all these stupid-ass penalties, you dope. Bad officiating. I hope I don't see him the rest of the series.
I mean, chances are none of that happens if it's, nothing. Probably none of that happens if it's not 5-1 or 4-1, or I got 5-1 at that point. But imagine if it's 3-1 and the Rangers lose two of their top 4 defensemen for 6 minutes left in that game. I'd still be shitting in my pants over it.
Fox goes out and forget about it. Immediately, my bunghole gets puckered because I'm like, this guy is so valuable to the team. I don't want him not be able to play the rest of the period. You're right. If it was 3-1 or 2-1 or 3-1, he probably would have pulled the shenanigans. I don't know if 2-1 if he would have done it. Oh, not on Wes McCauley's watch. He'll throw people out with 12 minutes left in the game. This is a refereeing. This is just like a look at me show.
Right.
And I thought the Devils played dumb. How did this Damon Severson? I know he's a little burr under my saddle with this guy, but he's taking stupid penalty after stupid. Good for him. Keep losing your cool, dummy.
Keep doing it.
So
it's obvious the Rangers have them frustrated. They can't defend when the Rangers get going in the offensive zone and they start cycling and they're moving the puck around like maybe only they can, with the exception of maybe Edmonton might be the only team that can do it like they can. Devils have no answer for it, and the Devils have no answer for the third line. The third line. I think in 2 games, Hedel has a goal and Kakko has a goal, right? And Lafreniere had one waved off. They have not been able to compete with the third line.
And Lafreniere was getting into people's faces last night, and the newly nicknamed Capo Kakko by me is known as the Pale Horseman. The Pale Horseman scores a goal. He's played a wonderful 2 games.
He has, and he's involved, and Lafreniere. I think they are both very. I know they're not 40 goal scorers, and maybe they never will be, but they are tough guys not to root for because they're involved. Kakko is fun to watch when he gets a hold of the puck. Lafreniere's involved in everything. He's got that Barclay Goodrow mentality where he's always smiling, he's always laughing, he's always involved. These are guys you want. I got other guys that could score 40 goals. I don't necessarily have to have Kakko and Lafreniere scored a 40 goals. As long as that line's generating chances and drawing penalties, which they are, then I'm fine with it. I got no problem with it. There's a lot of other things that go the game scoring 40 goals. Speaking of which, Mika Zibanejad, again, he's had a fantastic series that just doesn't really show up on the score sheet, but he's been just absolutely terrific.
I feel, again, this comparison may not hold any weight next year.
And we're throwing a lot of bouquets tonight that could change in 3 days, but whatever.
Right. I mean, he's kind of like the Patrice Bergeron of the Rangers with more scoring ability. He's a guy who's playing both ends of the ice. Marchand and Pasternak get all the glory and all the pageantry, but really, Bergeron is what makes the team go night after night. And I feel like he's just an amazing player. And I thought about it last night, Jim. I said, I don't want to hear these fucking Ranger fans talk about Rick Middleton anymore, okay? We got him for Derek Brassard.
Right.
By far, the biggest steal in Ranger history. This is just turning out to be like no question. And if he can,
and how about and we got Ryan Lindgren for Rick Nash, who was done. We know now that Rick Nash was done, and we got Ryan Lindgren for him and a draft pick. We got 5 players for Rick Nash, and Rick Nash was done. 10 games, I think he played for the Bruins. By the way, speaking of, there is no score in either the Bruins game or the Islanders game. And,
the Islanders are back at can I talk a little bit about the Islanders just for a second?
You can talk about whatever you want, my friend.
All right. So I figured I would bask in the glory of another Islander loss down at the Fairweather Center Arena there.
With that flute goal.
With that fluky goal.
Fantastic. Couldn't happen to a more deserving team.
Just a terrible goal that went in regulation. And then in overtime, Jesper sent him down. Foss scores. Quickie.
Our old friend.
Maybe doing some double agent work for us. We don't know.
Right.
So, I'm watching Thomas Hickey. Didn't he play on the team like 2 years ago? He's already in the booth. This is like having Dubinsky in the booth for us. Why did they just go right from the roster to the booth?
Right.
I guess Butch Goring's skedaddled out of there after the loss. And, he's going to some other bonehead. And they weren't talking about the Islanders that they lost. And I don't want to say they were gleeful, but I think they were holding back smiles that fucking J.G. Pajot fucking whacked Teravainen, broke his hand. He's out for the rest of the playoffs. At least out for the
Yeah, he's gonna have surgery.
He's gonna have surgery. What
Right.
guy comes back, So again, and they were almost giddy. They showed the replay like 5 times. Like, now it'll be easier for the Islanders as they go forward. Rather than talk about all the shortcomings at the Islanders, that they had blown a lead, Brock Nelson, who's about the only Islander, and guys, do not kill me, that I actually have some kind of respect for. I mean, when he plays us, he's a piece of shit. But when I try to go outside the bounds of being a Ranger fan, I say, this guy's pretty talented. He's pretty talented. The rest of them suck. Matt Barzal skates around. He belongs with the Rangers, the old Rangers. I'd say the new Rangers. Wait, just as la-di-da, he skates around. Anders Lee is only good on the power play. The captain. Give it a break. So the rest of them are pieces of garbage. But this Brock Nelson scores, and they blew the lead. Talk about you had the lead in the third period, but you blew it. As Robert De Niro says in Copland, you blew it. You blew it,
you deaf fuck.
Go to lunch. Go to lunch. I mean, this is
What a great movie, by the way, if you've never seen it.
And again, what you call it, Matt Zenobia brings it up with the familiarity of they're calling everybody their first names. Like again with Cal, maybe they should blow up in the first line, get some more grit. You're down 2-0. It's an 80% chance you're probably going to lose. That's the stats. That's Vadja stats. And instead, they were giddy that Teravainen has been eliminated from the series. Well, when Jesper Fast scores on you, aren't the gates open now? And they're giving a post. I mean, more. That's all I had to say about that. And I was advised today, and I think it was somebody, I was making fun of the Shannon Bulk Hogan, who apparently is pregnant. I think it was Sean that corrected me on that. I did not know that. I guess that penis necklace worked.
Right. It's a fertility necklace.
She was wearing.
It's a fertility necklace.
I'm sorry again. I'm sorry.
I'm not sorry,
Sam.
Pardon me, Sam.
And Patrick Kane, welcome home, showtime.
What a goal! What a goal he scored last night.
I have to tell you, I was yelling at
Joe.
him early, Jim. Again with he's got, all of a sudden he's trying to clear. He's got palsy. Can't get it out of the zone. He can't dump it in.
Right.
And I'm like, all of a sudden he awoke. Bruins are now up 1-0.
That was quick.
Yeah.
That game only started a few minutes ago.
1-1, I think, surprising a lot of people.
Thank you.
So, just Patrick Kane, and I think this play, MSG is going to be berserk. It is going to be berserk. And down 2-0, you think the Devil fans are still going to show up, or you think they're going to?
No. Come on. Come on. Did you see them rush out of that arena last night? Like Springsteen was in the parking lot doing a free show. I mean, there'll be some there tomorrow night. Of course, the arenas are 8 miles apart. Of course, there's going to be some, but that place is going to be a zoo tomorrow night. And I don't want to say the series is over, but I would be, like you said, it's just going to take a monumental collapse and a complete change in what's gotten them here. I mean, this team, they play it like they get it. They understand. These guys have been through it. They know what it takes. They've all been on the wrong end of the handshake line. And I just think at least I just think they're the better team. They're the better team.
Right now, yeah. I mean, again, I felt that they contained them much better. Those D-men are doing a great job of boxing out the Devils. There's no second chances. If you give Igor like 25 shots or under, you're going to pretty much win every time in the playoffs. That's just a fact. I mean, last year he was facing 40, 50 triple overtimes, and they still were in it.
Right.
And even the goal
Devils
they gave up last night was fluky.
Right. Yeah, it was just
skate. And
Devils had 24 shots on goal last night. I guess if I had one thing the Rangers really could improve on from last night, it's the faceoffs.
Oh yes,
I might live to be 100 and never see a Ranger team that's good on faceoffs.
I don't understand. Every guy is good on the other team. And
the worst part is how many times do the Rangers centers get chased out of the circle, and then you're like, oh fuck, now we're screwed. It's right. Like, and Kreider's going to take the face off. We're like, well, shit, if Zibanejad ain't going to win the face off, Kreider sure as shit ain't going to win it.
I figure he's got, if Hedl gets thrown, I think anybody's got a good chance. I mean, yeah, and how many icings? There were 8 icings or 9 icings in that first period by the Devils.
Oh, the first period was a slog.
Into this. And they couldn't, and they were a little bit frustrating with that. But it feels like, the Rangers got them so far. Don't want to get too crazy. I'll save the nuttiness if we go up 3 games, when we go up 3 games to none. But the Devils are already doing the panic moves. Ruff is replacing guys. It's interchangeable. I just think they're overmatched. They're overmatched. And
have they announced the goaltender for Game 3 yet?
Well, what do you think about Don Vito Vanacek so far? I mean, I thought he played better last night, but it's not going to be enough.
Early, I thought he played better, but
what are you going to do? The guys are tipping pucks in front of him. 2 goals are in that way. You got Tarasenko shooting rockets. You got Kane shooting. I mean, you think this Smid guy or this Miles Blackwood or whatever his name is, they're going to be able to do any better?
Akira Schmid? Is it Schmid?
Yeah, Schmid. Yeah, Schmid. He's mid.
He's Chechnyan, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Well,
is Blackwood hurt?
I don't know.
Okay.
Didn't the Devils?
Well, I think Matt Zenobia hits it right on the head here in the chat. They don't have anything better than. Are any of these guys better than Vanacek? I mean, Vanacek is the guy. I mean, he was their starting goaltender all year. So, isn't there a reason for that? Yeah. I mean, he played 52 games. He had a good season.
You've given up 10 goals in 2 games.
Right.
I mean, maybe we call it the empty netter. All right, he's given up 9 goals. Maybe things to change it up. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't think he'd make a difference if you change goalies.
I just think the Rangers, again, same thing as after Game 1. The 3 advantages that I felt like the Rangers had in this series have all come to fruition. It's goaltending, defense, and experience. And I think that's what it comes down to. But I'll tell you this much. There's all the more reason for the Rangers to get past this team in the first round, because the Devils are only going to get better. I mean, there are some talented players on this team, on that team. There are some talented players, and they're only going to get better, and they're only going to get more experienced. They're going to be a thorn in our side for a long time, so now is the time. Get John Brancy out there with that national anthem tomorrow night. Get the crowd fired up. You're going to have 10, maybe 1,000, 2,000 maybe Devils fans Send them home to Newark very unhappy.
And my wife told me about Arlette. Arlette sang the national anthem for Game 1, and I was kind of curious why Arlette was taken. Is doing the national anthem, and apparently, Chris, what you write? Lou Lamoriello?
She wrote the national anthem?
Lou Lamoriello saw her perform at a restaurant.
Francis Scott Arlette?
Apparently, Leaping Lou Lamoriello, who hasn't won shit since the cap was introduced, I saw her at the local restaurant, the local diner, performing. And said, hey, why don't you come down and sing the national anthem?
Oh.
So
all right.
Arlette went from diner to dump. And Lou's
from diner to diner shore. That just shows you the difference in class. You know, we've got a. I mean, this guy Brancy's the Metropolitan Opera singer, isn't he, or something like that? He's singing with I don't know, some classically trained singer, and they got some broad in the diner.
Yeah,
they got like some girl they plucked out of a Jersey Shore bar. That's the difference.
They got a singing waitress from a Jersey Shore bar.
Laura Falana, impersonator. It's terrible.
Sean says Blackwood just sucks. Not her. What happened? Talking about the Devils. I remember a love fest early in the season where Sam Rosen was talking about Nico Dawes. Do you remember this? Does anybody have a recollection of this goaltender that they drafted? Oh, Joe, Nico Dawes. Whatever happened to that guy? Probably the same thing that happened to Nigel Dawes. But that was just the yes, the third line is incredible and really propels the Rangers and doesn't and the fourth line's been pretty good. I feel VC's gotten a lot of chances. And Barkley, who I did bark at, I barked at Barkley that the giveaway that led to it was either led to the penalty or led to the goal. Couldn't clear the zone but other than that, it was about the goal he's going to get from the Rangers. But now I have to ask you this. Were you as vociferous as you were in Game 1? Did you lose?
Well, I was. Well, my voice is still not returned 100%. I will admit I was a little calmer last night than I was in Game 1. And a big part of that was because we were out here on the patio and it was late. And we do have neighbors. And it was funny because my neighbor, I meant to post this on the website in the group today, and I didn't. After one of the Ranger goals, my neighbor sent me a picture. My neighbor who lives right back there. He sent me a picture of his dog at the window. His dog's name is Gunner. And the dog was like had his head under the blinds, was trying to figure out what was going on because we were making so much noise. And he texted me, and the text said, hold on, I'll read it to you. It said, Gunner wants to know what's going on. Let's go Rangers. Here's the picture of the dog staring at us out the window watching this. So only for the sake of the neighbors. If I was in the house, I would have been a little more crazy because the windows are closed and I don't have to worry. I was a little more considerate because we got one neighbor on the side here. They're pretty quiet. They hole. You never even fucking see them. I swear they're vampires. But then our neighbor in the back here, Ben. He's a cop. He's got kids, so I don't want to piss him off. But he did hear us, and then the dog heard us. So, but yeah, my voice is still not returned. And yes, it is. It's getting more. Yes, Jen said it's fucking windy, and yes, it's getting more windy and it's getting chilly out here.
Okay, well, we'll wrap things up shortly.
And yes, Jen said she's a calming influence. She's crazier than I am, but she's louder than I am when they score. Oh yeah, she's just as loud, up and dancing and jumping up and down. When they won the game, when they won the game, she jumped up out of her chair. She jumped into my arms, and she's nuts. I love it.
When Haller scored, I was pretty heated. I got just like with you with the celebration and like, wow, you know.
I wasn't, I was more mad about his celebration than I was about them giving up the goal because it was too early to get worried, and I just like I said, the Rangers were outplaying them, and I thought the style was fine, and the Devils just got a lucky goal at the end of a power play. But his celebration, I'm like, dude, who the fuck you think you are? I mean, it was like Ovechkin-like. I mean, his celebrations are ridiculous too. I'm like, you are a garbage third-line mucker. Get the fuck out of here. And you're a Devil. Get out of here in front of your 8,000 fans.
Well, I felt.
By the way, I do want to show this picture before we say goodnight, whatever that is. I want to show this picture. Look at this. Look at this. This fucking warms my heart. Look at all these fans. Look at all this blue.
Oh yeah.
Look at this. I mean, they were. I love our fans. I love how well we travel. I mean, look at that. I mean, that is just an entire section, and that's just one section of that dump. Prudential Square Garden. That was entirely Ranger fans. Their fans headed for the exits early again.
What else you gonna do? You want to sit your team? The team's giving up 5 goals. They have no answers.
Fuck them.
And I feel like the Rangers have been pretty. I mean, they were talking about the Devils' hits. The Devils had like 30 hits in that game. I always say the hits mean shit. The hits mean the play's been in your zone for most of the time.
39 hits for both teams last night.
And I thought the game, the Rangers played pretty physical. I really did. I thought the Rangers were, and that wears down a team even after 2 games. People started
sure
to get good hits, and
absolutely.
I was so glad when Schneider took on what Ball is that guy's name? Whatever that guy's name is. The guy's a big chooch. And Schneider did very well against him, very well. And they're in it to win it. Let's just face it. That's the main line, and that's the main takeaway.
By the way,
that's basically all I got.
Anybody that likes comparing Kakko to Hughes, guess who's got more points in this series?
Well, we got to give out credit where credit. Shesterkin is a stud, and he's intimidating. He gets inside the heads of shooters too. On top of everything, you've got to get. They have very few second chances, and that's credit to the back line,
right?
And the forwards blocking shots and the whole 9 yards. So, I think the Rangers are at least going to stop the next 2 games, probably. And, if Kim's son back, we got to give him something special because he's the only one who predicted a Rangers sweep in this. And I thought he was insano in the braino for doing that.
You know what? If it happens, we're gonna buy him something, and we'll ship it we'll get him something. We'll figure out something. Because you know what? He's the only one saying. He was the only one saying it. And if he winds up being right, absolutely. I don't mind being wrong. I don't mind being wrong.
Because now, again, with the Sugar Plum Fairies, as you put a dancing in my head, Rangers, they get a lot of rest if they sweep. And just like the Avalanche last year, all these things.
Joe.
These fanciful thoughts coming to my head. I got to knock them out of there. I got to get realistic. But still, and of course, I get really bad. I imagine us all at the parade. It's only 2 games. The parade, and I can't go there yet. I got 14 games to go left.
Joe Catroni texted me. He says before game 1 even started, he says, look, he says, let's just say this. He says, I'm not getting ahead of myself. He says, I'm just saying this. He says, let's make a pact. He says, if there's a parade, we're going. I said, oh, fuck yeah, we're going. Fuck yeah. So yeah, we're going.
I don't want it to. I don't want to sound like I expect a parade. Once I watch the show, I go, oh, you're talking about a parade already. Again, this is in my fantasy world, which I live in 90% of the time. So I just like the makeup of the team so far. And the matchups, if they get past this series, look pretty good. I mean, you're going to probably have to face the Bruins somewhere down the line. Probably face, Toronto, whatever you have to. But I think the Rangers have as good a chance as anybody right now. I think they have the better team from top to bottom.
The way they played the first two games, we have no reason not to think that they can't beat anyone. Not saying it's going to happen, but they give you reason to hope.
Right, and
I mean, there are plenty of nights during the regular season where I'd watch the team and I think to myself, who the fuck are they beating in the first round of the playoffs? How are they? There's some nights where I felt like that.
Right.
But then I watch how they played the first two games of the series, and I say to myself, if they play like this, who's going to beat them?
Right. No, I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
We'll see.
Still got a long road to go. I saw the post-game celebration there with the hat going to Tarasenko there, the Russian tank, whatever they're calling him. I thought we had a Russian tank before. Who would we have? Fedorenko. Fedorenko?
Ruslan Fedotenko.
Fedotenko. I used to call him the Russian. But this guy's been replaced.
I liked him.
He was a good player.
He was a good player.
Was he the guy who had the orange face?
Took a high stick to the face every game. He had a hockey face. I liked him.
I had I'm thinking of Vinny Prospel. Remember he had like that orange face? Like he looked like fucking Garfield.
He looked like the Great Trumpkin. Vinny Prospel.
And the Rangers got to the Cup with Rick Nash and Matt Zuccarello and Mark Stahl and Dan Girardi. I mean, this team is loaded compared to that team. So anything is possible.
Right. Anything's possible. We got to get through these next two games, and then from there, we'll move on. We'll see what they come up with tomorrow night. We'll see what they know.
Yeah, we'll see how much pushback the Devils get, and the fans are gonna be. It's gonna be a fucking zoo.
8:00 game tomorrow night, ABC exclusive.
So it's going to be on the local ABC network, Channel 7 in New York?
Yes.
Wow.
So
Saturday night come down and must-see TV.
Right. So we'll come back Sunday night and we'll recap Game 3, right?
Yeah, you recap. You want to do it for our wonderful people here who join us. Thank you so much again, Patreon people.
Patreon only. They deserve it.
That's right. We love you all, man, and thank you so much. And it's my pleasure to do this.
All right. Enjoy your weekend. Yes, Patty Duke, you got it right. Pre and post game on MSG. We'll see you guys Sunday night, 7 p.m. And let's go Rangers. Let's get it done. 8:00 start tomorrow night. Big game. Got to get it done. Eddie, always a pleasure. Enjoy your weekend, sir. I'll see you Sunday.
I will. It starts right now.
All right. No music tonight. I don't have the soundboard on my laptop. So that's it. Good night, everybody.
Let's go, Rangers!